welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back. How y'all doing on this Saturday? I mean Sunday. Shoot, before the work week starts tomorrow. Lord have mercy. I'm talking about Saturday. I wish it was still Saturday to tell you the truth. Let me get this hair together. So anyway, we all going through something. Just stay prayerful and it will work itself out. That's what I'm trying to believe. Right? Right. I should call my boy therapy, have him come up here and talk with me. I like people to come up and sit. So anyway, let's get off into it. George Soros. Who is George Soros? On the top of my head, Illuminati, flat out. And his number one tenet of the Illuminati is destruction of America, destruction of private property, destruction of religion, especially Christianity. And we watching this in real time. And that's always been his objective. He funded Black Lives Matter, which wasn't for us. He is the one behind paying the protesters out there. He's behind Antifa, funding that. He's behind funding these rogue judges that is issuing orders that's way out of their jurisdiction because the executive branch has certain powers that they can do. They trump city and state governments, and that's a fact. And I'm going to tell you something. If it was anything that these local estates could do against what he's doing, they would do it. But it's in the Constitution. And this is why I told my kids if you want to know your rights and all that, read the Constitution. It is there what your rights are in the Bill of Rights. It's important. He funds, he has a society called Open Foundation. No, it's Open Society. He believes in open borders. And I was shocked. No, I wasn't because I kept telling everybody that Biden was a PDF and a Satanist. And he got sworn in on the Book of Shadows, but the Christian people, that went right over their head. I said, what in the world is going on that y'all still vote? And I'm telling you, he is Satanist and a PDF file. Because his daughter came out and confirmed with that was her diary. Anyway, that's a different topic for a different day. So, and he got the freedom of honor from the Biden crime family. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you can't make this up. So today is kind of a serious thing. We're just gonna dwell off into who is George Soros and what does he do. Matter of fact, I found that I got a book by him. Let me show y'all. So this is gonna be my next thing that he even wrote a book. Hold on. He wrote this book in 2006, and I'm like, oh shoot, this gonna be when we gonna be reading. The Age of Fallibility, Consequences of the War on Terror. Yeah, so this is going to be a book that, shoot, I'm gonna have to read. We're gonna read it right on here. And I couldn't believe, I said, why I got a book by this man? I got a hell of a library. I'm getting rid of books now. The books I got away, I think my son took 10 of them. And I'm just like, wow, my hair is so tangled, y'all. Ah, that is tangled. Do you hear me? Okay. So I found this. Why is George Soros tied to so many conspiracy theories? It's not a conspiracy. He is part of the Illuminati. Absolutely. And he was born in Europe in Budapest. Soros has become a divisive figure in global politics, especially in his home country of Hungary, due to his significant funding of progressive or liberal causes. He is an evil man, awful man. And his son Alex, who is taking over because George Soros is 95, his son, they say allegedly that he's worse than his dad. Now, including, now this is what he funds: Human Rights Watch, Black Lives Matter that I just said, and multiple pro EU European Union organizations based in the UK. A wide range of political voices have accused Soros of being entangled in conspiracy theories. Not a conspiracy, he is. From right wing bloggers to Fox News. But while the majority are easily discredited, commentators have noticed a dark streak running through many of them. Okay. Mark Finster, a law professor at the University of Florida, told Business Insider that many claims waged against Soros could have an anti Semitic slant that are familiar to the false claims that the Rothschilds family secretly controls all of the world's wealth. Well, I did a couple of videos on the Rothschilds. If you go back and you can look at that, they are the head of this. Adam West helped start the Illuminati in America May 1st, 1776. He was a Jesuit in the Catholic Church. And the last pope that is deceased, he was the first and only Jesuit ever put in. They are like the army of the Catholic Church. Yes, the Catholic Church has an army, and they are Zionists, and they worship the Luciferian doctrine. They are Satanists. Okay. While Soros' son has said that the demonization of his father by the right wing is dripping with poison or anti-Semitism. No, Semitism. No, it's not. Who is George Soros? Born to a Hungarian Jewish family in 1930, Soros and his family survived the Nazi occupation during the Second World War by obtaining forged papers identifying them as Christians because he is a Satanist. After the war, he studied at London School of Economics before starting a career in finance that saw him work his way from London bank clerk to Wall Street billionaire. In 1993, Soros funded the Open Society Foundation, and he believes in open borders. He was gun ho with millions and millions poured in off of that U.S. border, Mexico border. He's a Prothanthorus. Oh my God, I can't even say the word. Normally I could say Philanthropist. Okay. That funds progressive causes around the world, as well as being one of the world's richest men. Most of the rumors surrounding Soros are connected to OSF, frequently portrayed in truther circles as a nefarious organization whose true aim is to weaken individual nations and establish an all power global government. Well, it's a fact. That is true. That is what he does. He's welcoming in the New World Order. He is definitely a luminous part of the Illuminati. As for Soros himself, over the past 2 decades, he has acquired the negative stature of John Milton's Satan fitting over the entire globe as a shadowy eminence glides, wielding his dark materials to wicked ends. He is uh, in the former Soviet states. Soros funded pro democracy movements following the fall of communism, anti establishment protesters. Like I said, all these protesters that you see going around, they are paid, and he is paying them, are still frequently dismissed as paid stools just by Soros. That is a fact. This line of thinking appears to have spread to the U.S., where Soros has been accused of orchestrating everything from police brutality protests in Ferguson, Missouri, to nationwide March for Our Lives gun control rallies in February. So, this article, Why Soros? Soros' liberal politics and internationalist values combined with his immense wealth makes him a natural target for conspiracy theories. So like Bill Gates, he's also a multi-billionaire and his whole agenda is depopulation. And he has said that part of the Illuminati thing, depopulation. He believes in the same thing. So what are you saying? It's true. The figure of wealthy Jewish puppet master secretly controlling world affairs has been a favorite subject for the conspiracy theories since the 19th century, when the Rothschilds banking dynasty were the chief targets. In 2017, Soros was compared to Nazi propaganda. The Guardian reports were Hungary's largest Jewish organization, calling the posters poisonous. Mm, okay, now. Oh damn, they got an argue. Oh, they got an article in here, dude. Los Angeles Times. When was this? Oh, here it is. They say he. Okay, hey, therapy. How you doing, sweetie? Nice to see you. They say George Soros hires protesters and rents buses to transport them. He does. These are paid protesters, and they have admitted it on multiple videos. They haven't said he paid them. Some say he has people stash piles of bricks to be hurled into glass storefronts or at police. He funds Antifa. George Soros, the billionaire investor and philanthropist, has long been a target of conspiracy. Okay, let me see here. And like I said, he funded Black Lives Matter. He funds rogue DAs. During this last election with Trump and Harris, he bought 140 radio stations to support her because she's a puppet. Some see anti Semitism or a new spin on the age old hoax that a shadowy cabal of rich men, whether it's the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, absolutely, he is carrying it out. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Or whether it's the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, Bill Gates, or Soros, is manipulating world events. They do. That's the facts in 1776. And his open, Lord, I just told y'all the name of his society, Open Society Foundation. He supports open borders. Yeah, but they say his son Alex. Okay, now we about to get into the video part. Let me put this phone on the charger. Oh, wait a minute. I got another article. Shoot, I forgot about this one. Oh, let me find this. Now I gave my spiel, my breakdown. And guess what, therapy? I found a book that I got by him, George Soros. I'm gonna have to read it, or this gonna be one of our next book club. The Age of Fallibility. I got a book by him that I found. I didn't even know I had it. I got so many books. Oh, this is what I have. It's just a breakdown. He has a net worth of 2023 as 32 billion to the Open Society Foundation, which 15 billion has already been distributed, representing 64% of his original wealth. Forbes called him the most generous giver. He is a resident of New York. Yeah, he funded Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, all of them. You can tell they all have the same rhetoric. They all support the illegals. Soros, known as the man who broke the Bank of England as a result of his short sale of a 10 billion worth of pounds sterling, which made him a profit of a billion in 1992. And they called that the Black Wednesday. So he took down the Bank of England. Soros supports progressive and liberal political causes to which he dispenses donations through the Open Society Foundation. Between 79 and 2011, he donated more than 11 billion to various philanthropic causes. Right. Well, he was born in Hungary. He is a citizen, but he was born in Hungary. By 2017, his donations on civil incentives to reduce poverty and increase transparency and on scholarships and universities have totaled 12 billion. He influenced the fall of communism in Eastern Europe in the 80s and 90s and provided one of Europe's largest higher education endowments to Central European University in his Hungarian hometown. and Alexander is taking over from him. Now, his Open Society Foundation champions democratic solutions to our urgent common challenges that advance rights, equity, and justice. We do this by supporting a wide array of independent voices and organizations around the world that provide a creative, dynamic link. Yeah, you support open borders. Hmm. What is this? All right, let me get into this video. Uh, Therapy, if you want to come up, just let me know. I know you watching the game. All right, this Elon Musk on George Soros.
Elon Musk released a few interesting messages about George Soros, revealing why he is against him. Musk started a new anti-campaign against Soros and said that he will do everything he can to prevent him from accomplishing his goals that might harm the USA. Also, when Soros said that, he does not believe Tesla or any one company can solve climate change alone. Musk responded that for a guy who's so involved in technology, you would think he would only talk about things he understands, but he does not. Then Musk explained what George Soros is doing behind the scenes and why he is destroying America. So let's explain everything. So Elon Musk had a few very interesting political messages to his Twitter followers. And while sitting in his Twitter office, Musk opened up about his political beliefs. As you know, a few days ago, Soros focused on Trump's legal issues, saying he plans to use the Department of Justice against his political enemies.
Facts.
He looks up to dictators and claims he'll act like one from day one. But according to Musk, this is a lie. According to Musk, George Soros hates the USA.
Facts.
There are specific things that he has done that people need to know. Musk also criticized Soros after billionaires said that Trump's presidency was like a temporary event, which he hoped would never be repeated. Soros believes Trump is still very dangerous because he will do whatever it takes to stay in power. He added that even someone like Trump can become president and harm democracy from within. Musk responded by saying that Trump's policies were...
And I hate that they say harm democracy. This is a republic. It's not a democracy. It's a republic because we follow the Constitution. If there was no Constitution, then you could say democracy. This is a damn republic.
Thing like that. Also, during the conversation with Joe Rogan, Elon Musk expressed his belief that George Soros harbors a fundamental dislike for humanity, stating it as his personal opinion. He also mentioned that Soros has recognized a key insight. One doesn't necessarily need to change laws to influence society. Instead, by altering how laws are enforced or selectively enforcing them, it can have the same effect as changing the laws themselves. Musk suggested that this strategy of differential enforcement is something Soros has mastered, with significant societal impact. In my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion, really. Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws. You just need to change how they're enforced.
Facts.
If nobody chooses to enforce the law or the laws are differential...
And that's why he backed Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Judge Brolsberg. He donates to them and gets control of them. And that's how you know who's under his control, because he supports open borders. You see the Brandon Johnsons, all these people who put illegals over American citizens. He funding them. Oh yeah, that's true therapy.
Forced, it's like changing the laws. That's what he figured out. And this conflict between Musk and George Soros is not new because everything started 4 years ago. Elon Musk sought to discover who was behind a letter signed by more than 20 liberal groups urging advertisers to cease working with Twitter if he acquired the company. These groups were backed by individuals such as billionaire George Soros, the European Union, and the Canadian government. And they were advocating for a boycott of Twitter if Musk took control. Musk tweeted asking, "Who is funding these groups that want to control what information you can see? Let's look into it." He also said, sunlight is the best disinfectant, meaning transparency is the solution to the problem. And in the last few years, Elon Musk's conflict with Soros got even worse. In May 2023, Elon Musk stirred controversy by publicly comparing Soros to Magneto, a well-known villain from the Marvel Universe. Musk tweeted that Soros reminds me of Magneto and added that he believes Soros hates humanity.
He does.
Sparked immediate backlash due to the underlying insinuation that Soros was akin to a powerful villain often associated with global control and manipulation. Musk's tweet came after Soros's investment fund, Soros Fund Management, sold its holdings in Tesla earlier that year, though it's unclear if the timing of the sale and the tweet were related. Soros, who has often been targeted by conspiracy theorists due to his financial support for liberal and progressive causes, did not respond directly to Musk's comments. Nonetheless, the public debate escalated quickly, with numerous figures, including advocacy groups like the Anti-Defamation League, condemning Musk's remarks. Then, in 2023, Soros Fund Management, the investment firm led by Soros, made headlines by selling off its significant holdings in Tesla. The decision to divest from the electric vehicle company came amidst a turbulent period for Tesla, with its stock experiencing volatility due to a combination of market conditions and Elon Musk's increasingly polarizing public persona. Soros moved off their eyebrows by Musk's public and political behavior.
I'm gonna let this play. I'll be right back.
Sale, Musk was embroiled in several controversies, including his takeover of Twitter and a series of tweets that alienated some investors and public figures. Musk's forays into political commentary, particularly his critiques of liberal politics and figures like George Soros, were seen by some as a factor that could have played into Soros Fund Management's decision. While Soros himself did not publicly link the stock sale to Musk's political antics, the timing of the sale coincided with growing scrutiny of Musk's leadership and his impact on Tesla's brand reputation. Elon Musk has consistently criticized George Soros for his significant political influence, accusing the billionaire philanthropist of using his wealth to push policies that Musk sees as harmful to free enterprise and societal stability. Soros, through his Open Society foundations, has been a major donor to progressive causes around the world, supporting initiatives focused on human rights, democracy, and social justice. Musk, however, views Soros's involvement in these causes as a form of undue political manipulation, suggesting that his financial power allows him to promote globalism and restrict economic freedom. Musk has also implied that Soros's influence goes beyond legitimate philanthropy, framing it as a dangerous intervention in global politics. According to Musk, Soros's funding of progressive political campaigns and organizations often leads to the enactment of policies that stifle innovation and burden industries with regulations. And today, in 2024, the conflict got even worse. Musk criticized Soros, claiming that the Open Society foundations fund campaigns and organizations that advocate for increased regulation, higher taxes, and wealth redistribution, policies that Musk opposes as stifling innovation.
Okay, let's do the next one. That was a nice breakdown from him. That was a good breakdown. All right, come on. All right. This is Jason A. I love him. He got the best videos.
Are you religious? No. Do you believe in God? No. Soros told us he believes God was created.
See, I told you they Satanists, they worship the Luciferian doctrine. Now, you heard what he said. I'm going to start this video over. Okay, I agree and disagree, but we can talk about that one. Max, get out of there.
Are you religious? No. Do you believe in God? No. Soros told us he believes God was created by man, not the other way around. which may be why he thinks he can smooth out the world's imperfections. One of your money manager told us that George really does think he's a god.
Lawmakers are investigating after the FCC fast-tracks George Soros' deal to buy a radio station, reaching 165 million Americans weeks before the election. The FCC commissioner expressing concerns.
The FCC here is not following its normal process for reviewing a transaction. It seems to me that the FCC is going to create, for the first time, an entirely new shortcut. Soros to buy the second largest radio station group in the country. We're talking over 200 radio stations across more than 40 markets. First of all, it's important for every American to understand, truly not just Americans, but anyone living in any society on earth, how influential Soros has been throughout his career. But here back at home in America, to truly understand the power of the Open Society Foundation. Well, Soros has long used money to promote his political views, but not everyone is convinced that his view of Baltimore is the healthiest view. In the city of Baltimore, hundreds of nonprofit organizations are fueled by the dollars of donors. And lately, one of the chief donors has been billionaire philanthropist George Soros.
He funds a lot of good work. He funds a lot of very controversial things as well.
For 25 years, the only U.S. field office for Soros's Open Society Foundation was located in downtown Baltimore. And for 25 years, his foundation pumped millions of dollars into Baltimore's nonprofits. Parker Thayer, who has long studied Soros's philanthropy, says most of all of it is aimed at promoting his far-left political views.
He likes to use his philanthropic and political giving empire to circumvent things that slow him down, like the legislature and the Constitution.
Thayer says nothing illegal about
that part,
but believes it should be scrutinized. Not all of the recipients, he says, have succeeded, and he says not all of them may be good for Baltimore.
The problem with the Soros network is that the people leading it think they have more knowledge and are smarter than everybody else in the world.
Facts.
They don't. They're normal people just like you and me. They have a lot of money.
Soros is now 93 years old and recently turned over his philanthropic activities to his son, who is vowing to become even more politically active than his father.
I mean, who elected Soros to dictate public policy and laws?
facts.
Why does he feel entitled to impose his agenda? Unelected bureaucrats are trying to instate public policy. Who elected them?
Right.
They don't have a democratic mandate. If they want a seat in the table, they should run for office.
Facts.
Of all the financial titans and philanthropists of the 20th century, none are more complex or mysterious than George Soros. Like Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and the Rockefellers, he amassed billions through ruthless business decisions, only to turn around.
Now you hear what he said. J.P. Morgan, the Rockefeller, all Illuminati. Facts. All Illuminati. All got their start with Rothschild's money. Back in the 1800s. That's a fact. This long money. This old money.
Give away most of his fortune to advance his own personal philosophy. He can move world financial markets simply by voicing an opinion, or destabilize a government by buying and selling its currency. He also pledged more aid last year to help people in Russia than the U.S. government did. But now George Soros is worried. He thinks the global economy is coming apart at the seams, and that the world needs to be protected from people like George Soros.
But the fact is that the system is broke and it needs fixing.
What you're doing is asking some form of regulation to protect the world against you.
Well, I am a player, and I think all players should be regulated. There have to be rules of the game.
So, Ajit, when you look at George Soros and you look at his political contributions, we're talking about $60 million to Democrats, or whether it's his organization or directly from him. I guess the question is, how is he able to get away with this? If this is not your typical process, is it because of the politicians that he has alliances with?
Facts.
Well, I think that's what the House Oversight Committee and others are going to be looking into, including Congressman Chip Roy, who flagged this issue in the spring. For me, at least, as a former FCC official, this is the reason why we have these rules, so that everybody has to play by the same process.
According to the New York Post, foreign company ownership of U.S. radio stations is not allowed to exceed 25%. But a filing acquired by the Post details Soros is asking the commission to make an exception.
Here, they're trying to do something that's never been done before at the commission level.
Yeah, I must say, Commissioner, I am extremely alarmed at what's happening with the transaction. This is very unprecedented. Looking at the facts, it seems that the administration is giving a left-wing billionaire who is a major donor, a close ally, one of the chief funders of all of their efforts and their dark money, a free pass to take control of hundreds of local radio stations.
In the last 2 years, you've been blamed for.
And that was to stop Trump from getting in. Y'all may not like Trump. I don't like everything he does. But one thing about it, he give you time for this new world order. Come on in and take over. He's not controlled. And that's why they can't stand him. And they doing an investigation right now on George Soros. The Senate has subpoenaed him to come and testify. That has never been done before in history against an Illuminati member. Oh, shoot, my cigarette.
Financial collapse of Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, and Russia.
All of the above.
All of the above. Are you that powerful?
No, I think there's a great misunderstanding.
The Prime Minister of Malaysia said that the region spent 40 years trying to build up its economy, and along comes a moron like Soros with a lot of money.
Right there,
He called you a criminal.
It's easier for him to blame an outside force. I think that I've been blamed for everything. I am basically there to make money. I cannot and do not look at the social consequences of what I do.
That's a lie.
The reason he is so rich is that the Soros hedge funds operate offshore in the Netherlands Antilles to avoid scrutiny by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So even though Soros tells Congress and the Treasury that hedge funds must be regulated to stop the global crisis, he's avoiding the rules.
Right.
Why is it that Americans can't invest in the quantum fund? It's an offshore fund. Why is that?
Because the fund is not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We are not
Licensed to do business in the United States.
That's right.
Because
We are not registered with the Securities.
Not licensed to do business in the United States. But does all the business in the United States.
We find it more convenient to operate without it.
so in some ways it's to escape regulation.
That's right.
But you've been sitting here talking about the need for regulation.
Yes, and whatever issues are imposed, we will obey. We will take them to conform to everything.
Alex, you're already a big political.
He sat up there and lied so quickly. I got to replay that. This your Illuminati. Y'all, if people don't believe this shit is real, man, listen. I got to play that again. He sat up there. He can't even operate business here, but he funding judges and DAs and Black Lives Matter. He paying the protesters. He doing everything. The number one tenet of the Illuminati is to destroy the United States.
We are not
Licensed to do business in the United States.
That's because we are not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Because we find it more convenient to operate without it.
So in some ways it's to escape.
So he buy all this stocks. He not registered with the security, the SEC, the Security Exchange for the stock market. He finds it better to do without being registered. Right, so you can manipulate the market. If I tell you these people are diabolical devils.
Yeah, that's right. But you've been sitting here talking about the need for regulation.
Yes, and whatever regulations are imposed, we will obey. We already conform to everything.
Alex, he's already
He just lied right there. He laughing through it. Knowing he don't obey shit.
a political donor apart from his family, pouring $5.7 million since 2018 into Democratic PACs and campaigns. And like you said, he's known to flaunt his liberal connections. You do a quick scan of social media, it shows countless pictures with world leaders, Democratic mainstays, the president, the VP, Nancy Pelosi.
You see Nancy Pelosi there? How she worth $200 million on a salary of $174,000. Jasmine Crockett, $9 million. She ain't even been there that long on a salary of $174,000. Chuck Schumer, insider trade.
To share this with you is interesting. He shared that speech nowadays he feels is too restricted. Not everyone is buying it though. Elon Musk saw that. He tweeted this, saying, quote, if he's serious about freedom of speech, then we have common ground. But destroying public safety by electing DAs who won't prosecute violent criminals needs to stop.
Come on.
Soros and his Open Societies Foundation, which is the main vehicle that he uses to fund various activism and initiatives, its influence on U.S. elections cannot be overstated.
Facts.
It's a couple of tranches. One is partnering with these NGOs to fast track immigrants, basically coming to the asylum system or other systems and fast tracking their naturalization process.
Alex Soros, George's son, just
Jared, you are right about that, Jared. Right, and the nano parts in there. But you know what? I smoke. So nicotine kills the nanoparticles. Do your research on that. And I am addicted to coke. So, but I'm a smoker. It destroys the nanotechnology. And you're right, Jared. You're right. I can't disagree with you. You're right, and I do know.
with the VP candidate, Tim Walz. You know the family's influence, especially in areas like criminal justice, immigration, voting rights, extremely left wing.
You have a guy in a billionaire's apartment in New York City with the cityscape behind them. And of course, this guy inherited all of his money from his daddy. And what I think is so interesting about this picture is the campaign didn't release this. It was Alex Soros who released this picture. And the reason that he released the picture is because he not only did Tim Walz come to his apartment to sell his soul.
Come on.
He wants the world to know.
Now you heard that. This on the news. Tim Walz went to him to sell his soul, which is the governor of Minnesota, who is dumb as a bag of rocks, just like the other one. She was dumber than a bag of rocks. And they put the illegals before Americans. He funds all that bullshit.
Owns his soul. That's what that picture, and I guarantee you that Kamala Harris campaign, when they saw that picture on the internet, they freaked out.
Right.
There was nothing they could do because they got bought by this guy.
Facts.
I am concerned about the society in which I live.
Which George Soros am I talking to now? The amoral George Soros or the moral George Soros?
It's one person. It's one person who at one time engages in amoral activities and at the rest of the time tries to be moral.
And so then therefore maybe the American public have an honest discussion, have an honest view of exactly how powerful is this family.
He tried to be moral. You a devil. You a devil. All of them diabolical devils. And the thing is depopulation, to get rid of you and me. All right, let me get up here. Damn, I'm gonna have to do a part 2. You know I got too much information. Hold on, Jenny. Oh, I went past the video. Maybe this would be the only video I do today. Damn, I went past the information. I mean, I went way past it. Where's my mom? Okay, here we go.
Most people know the name, but how much do they really know about George Soros, the man who spent $1.5 billion reshaping America to reflect his twisted woke ideology? Soros has bankrolled over 100 district attorneys and politicians, enforcing Marxist policies that are tearing this country apart. Millions have gone to support sanctuary cities, defunding police, eliminating cash bail, and reducing sentences for violent offenses. Soros is the illegal invasion of our nation, causing chaos.
Wait, I need to, we gotta let that on.
Praised by the left as a so-called philanthropist.
Oh, I can't go back. Damn, I can't go
The
back.
American way of life.
Oh, I can't go back. No, we're gonna.
His vision is not of freedom, but centralized control, leaving a legacy of division and chaos. Fortunately, the tide has turned. Forces like President Trump, the MAGA movement, and leaders like Elon Musk are fighting back. Together, they're restoring American greatness and dismantling the woke mind virus Soros tried to impose. The legacy of the Soros name is now failure. Sanity is being restored. The founding principles of America endure, and the best is yet to come.
Hey, Spark. I want that to play one more time. Listen, and this is the first time that the Senate has subpoenaed him. He got to come in and testify. I can't wait with his old decrepit ass get up in there.
Most people know the name, but how much do they really know about George Soros, the man who spent $1.5 billion reshaping America to reflect his twisted woke ideology? Soros has bankrolled over 100 district attorneys and politicians.
I told you.
Marxist policies that are tearing this country apart. Millions have gone to support sanctuary cities, defunding police, eliminating cash bail, and reducing sentences for violent offenders. Soros's cronies block border security, while he funds the illegal invasion of our nation, causing chaos and costing innocent lives. Praised by the left as a so-called philanthropist, Soros has used his fortune to dismantle the American way of life.
Facts.
His vision is not of freedom, but centralized control,
Facts.
leaving a legacy of division and chaos. Fortunately, the tide has turned. Forces like President Trump, the MAGA movement, and leaders like Elon Musk are fighting back. Together, they're restoring American greatness and dismantling the woke mind virus Soros tried to impose. The legacy of the Soros name.
Man, listen, that is a fact. All of that is true. And I'm going to watch when he testify in Congress. Because I got to see if he really going to go. I'm sure he going to do what he did in that interview that we just seen. Oh, where's my pen? I got to know where I left off. And Biden had the nerve. I almost fell out my bed when I seen that Biden gave that man. This how you know who is a Satanist too. Gave him the freedom award that he gave it to Hillary, crooked Hillary, gave it to George Soros. The highest honor that you, that's the Democratic agenda. Paid for, bought for, sold they souls for. Y'all can have this bullshit. Yeah, Medal of Freedom. Here you go. Here you go. The fuck? That's his son. Let me see what I can. It's the highest honor. He was in attendance. Look at his decrepit ass. What it say? Joe Biden presented George Soros with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. CEO of Tesla rages against Biden's decision to honor Soros with a Medal of Freedom. A travesty. It's showing the fuck was. George Soros was awarded the U.S. Presidential Medal of Honor. I was pissed off too, Elon. I was mad as hell too. What else is it saying? Tesla Elon Musk criticized the award on social media, calling it was a travesty. MAGA furious over George Soros' Medal of Freedom from Biden. I was pissed too. Then you gave the shit to Hillary Clinton ass. Well, she a Satanist too. She a high level witch though. But I got that's for a discussion for another day. People was pissed. If you know what that man is about, I was like, you can't make this shit. They just out in the open with it. Don't care. They showing who they really are. Everything is being revealed. That's a fact. Now he did. Denzel Washington got one the same day too, though. Let me see what this one says. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, that's Hillary Clinton.
Former Secretary of State and presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, one of 19 Americans that President Biden awarded the Medal of Freedom last night. Another was controversial Democratic donor George Soros. It's time now for our Sunday group. Fox News contributor and Outkick columnist Mary Catherine Ham, former State Department spokesperson and Fox News contributor Marie Harf, Doug High, former RNC communications director and founder of Douglas Media, and Mario Parker, Bloomberg managing editor for U.S. Economy and Government. Thank you guys for being here. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so these recipients, Mary Catherine, I mean, there was a long list, but a number of them were prominent critics of Trump. Do you think that Biden was trying to send a message with this list?
Yes, but I think that most presidents do. And I'm going to surprise everybody by saying that I think it's good that Hillary Clinton got this award.
Fuck that bitch.
A lot of novelists and fiction writers get the award, and yet the Hillary...
That bitch with Pizzagate and allegedly, Lord have mercy. When Julian Assange from WikiLeaks released some emails and she deleted 33,000 for Pizzagate, allegedly. Well, no, that ain't alleged. That is a fact, but allegedly. And she was looking for a black walnut, which is a black girl to sacrifice to Moloch. That was in the email. Then her assistant got trying to get 50 kids out of Haiti, got caught. Man. Mm. Fuck her.
Financed and created one of the greatest works of fiction in living memory in the Steele dossier. And despite it being total fiction, it enthralled the press and the intel community and federal law enforcement for years. And so I applaud her for that work of fiction. I'm excited about the work she does in the future on her totally fictional
Let's
presidency.
get to George Soros.
I was going to go somewhere.
Or the candidate who made the first Trump administration happen be decorated by the person who made the second Trump administration happen. And
ally. Japan is one of the biggest foreign investors in the United States, right? We've got 50,000 some troops there as well. But Ben
promised to spend almost $3 billion shoring up U.S. Steel, which has had a lot of problems. They pledged to adhere to the United Steelworkers economic nationalism, which will introduce many new gates for political interference. Union support, because you've had Nippon and Biden oppose this.
Okay, well, I guess they ain't talking about. Okay, so we're going to move on past that. And I'm about to do a part 2. Damn, all the time. All the time. I don't know what you in here for. You need to go to bed. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss it? Oh, shit. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry, y'all. I went past it. Right, I'm going to have to circle this. It must be on there. Oh, here we go. Got it.
So Elon Musk is trying to help balance our budget. Apparently Democrats have a huge problem with that, but they don't seem to have a problem with another billionaire, George Soros, and his son, whose money is funding a radio station, a series of radio stations that's been accused of broadcasting live locations, by the way, in Colorado, undercover ICE agents, locations of them. Meanwhile, KCBS Radio in San Francisco reportedly told...
Right. His radio stations was leaking where the ICE agents were when they pulled up. That was a big thing in February. Yup.
On January 26th, get this. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents are currently carrying out an operation on the east side of town. The county's response network says agents in San Jose were in unmarked vehicles. FCC Chair Brendan Carr joins us now. He's running that probe. Concerning to you, Brendan?
Yeah, of course. Look, I try to look on the bright side of things, and here I think that's the fact that we were having an unprecedented number of deportations taking place in this country. And for that, thank goodness for President Trump. Promises made, promises kept. He came in and said he's the person that can not only secure the border, but deport people that are here illegally, and he's carrying that out with unprecedented speed, thanks to Secretary Noem, Tom Homan as well. Here, this is really concerning. So what happened was you had ICE agents undercover doing operations in East San Jose and part of the town known for violent gang activity. And you had this radio station broadcasting the live location, identifying the unmarked vehicles that they were in. And again, against the backdrop of Democrat leaders in Congress saying it's time for people to take fights to the street against Trump's agenda. So we have sent a letter of inquiry, a formal investigation into that matter, and they have just a matter of days left to respond to that inquiry and explain how this could possibly be consistent with their public interest obligations.
And I should have called you chairman. I apologize for that. In terms of USAID funding, and people are concerned about the spending here, if you want to know motivation, look at this. $377,000 from USAID workers go to Democrats, 12 go to Republicans, and you wonder if there's a political agenda there. At the very least, you have to understand the concern.
Yeah, when you look at USAID in particular, it has been operating as sort of a money laundering operation for all sorts of radical.
A money laundering operation.
Are you worried about the precedent of asking for these transcripts because now everybody that has to edit down a interview
work that I'm doing on broadcasters and sort of paraphrase?
Okay, so we don't. Actually, I'm going to keep that one. That go with my USAID. USAID funded George Soros, who hate America. Here you go.
Donald Trump recently signed an executive order suspending foreign aid, placing an independent agency known as the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, under the purview of the State Department. In the past, the agency has had close ties with one globalist billionaire, at least, George Soros, and some of his foundations for many decades, according to reports by the Heritage Foundation. With us is Tom Fitton.
And he got taxpayer money to destroy America. Make that make sense. I was glad Trump dismantled USAID.
Judicial Watch. Tom, what do we know of George Soros and his connections with some of these foreign aid disbursements from agencies like USAID?
Well, Judicial Watch uncovered how George Soros linked groups and his Open Society Foundation partnered with USAID, received funding from taxpayers as a result. And I don't know about you, but I don't think George Soros needs the help of the taxpayer to do anything he wants.
Right.
What happens is Soros is active in a particular country. USAID comes and partners with him directly or indirectly, and entities he controls or funds. And the advocacy resulting from that is leftism and anti-Americanism. And just pushing the agenda that the left pushes here, they do in other countries with taxpayer support.
Is George Soros and his foundations taken together, something then of a corrupting influence on foreign aid dispersed by agencies like USAID, do you suppose?
Well, the American taxpayer wants, to a degree there's going to be foreign aid at all, to go to help people who are in dire circumstances.
Right, he's a billionaire.
George Soros's entities don't need the help.
Right.
And to send money abroad to help left-wing advocacy is not something most taxpayers would sign up for.
What do we know, for instance, about George Soros and maybe his political leanings, which might create the impression that some of his programs, some of the aid supporting his programs, are not consistent with perhaps the aims or the expectations of most average Americans?
You see how he carefully worded that.
Notably, he's a major supporter, which is his right, of Democratic Party and far left interests here in the United States. That approach hasn't changed, isn't different internationally. And if you want taxpayer money to be funneled to George Soros, there needs to be more transparency rather than having it hidden through these USAID programs disguised as really urgent humanitarian style aid.
Is that a coincidence then that there is this connection with George Soros and his foundation, and there are so many Democratic lawmakers who are stepping out in front to defend USAID and its foreign aid programs?
I don't want to overstate the relationship other than to say the left relies on USAID to fund its advocacy abroad, and they leverage the implicit support of the U.S. government, which comes with the USAID funding, to increase its power and leverage in countries where you don't need a lot of money to have an impact. Just a few $1 million goes a long way, and the left uses that not only to advance their own interests, but in my view, to undermine traditional U.S. foreign policy interests and our national security.
Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. Tom, thank you very much.
I like him. He won that money against Fonnie Willis. Sure did. He took her ass to court and got his $21,000 for her not releasing open records. I think I'm gonna keep that other video. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that other video. Okay, let me do all this. I wonder. Wait a minute. Let me just see something. I wonder if they gonna mention.
I found it. A chief judge from New York explaining exactly how Alvin Bragg and Letitia James effed up.
I have very little doubt that this matter will be reversed on appeal and based upon these.
Oh yeah, it was, and it was reversed. Let me see.
It's official. This is it. This is the beginning of the end for Fani Willis. Mark it in your calendars, guys. Today's date.
Georgia's Open Records Act, which violates law here.
It's almost like trying to claim that anyone who disagrees with you is...
Damn. All right. It must be in my other phone. I'm gonna finish up these other ones. It's gonna have to be a part 2. It's gonna have to be a part 2. And of course I went past it. I did. Okay, here we go. I hope this is different.
Last few weeks have featured revelation after revelation of how our tax dollars have been spent propping up radical left-wing causes across the world. Yet what struck me about the abuse of foreign aid has been the connections with leftist activists here at home. The left's dark money network features George Soros and his Open Society foundations, the Tides Foundation, and the network of nonprofits established by Arabella Advisors. The left's dark money network has deep ties to USAID, which has rightly received renewed scrutiny under Doge and after Elon Musk shined a light on it. The Soros-founded nonprofit has a long history with USAID. In 2001, the Soros Foundation's network, which became Open Society, listed USAID among its donor partners. Open Society
and then that's our taxpayer dollars going to fund organizations to destroy America. And he's a multi-billionaire. Ain't that a bitch?
USAID also jointly fund the East-West Management Institute. Among other things, the institute launched court changes in Albania that critics allege resulted in the prosecution of Albanian opposition leader Sali Berisha, silencing the opponent of the country's socialist prime minister. The left's dark money network features George Soros and his Open Society Foundations, the Tides Foundation.
Oh, so it's repeating itself.
And
Hold on.
the net
We're not going to do that.
The institute launched court changes in Albania that critics allege these groups allow donors to support specific projects without.
And I will inform this committee and the
trader who now serves as connections between the left.
This committee and the public watching that if pardon. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Unger. Apologize. I didn't mean to skip over you. I now recognize Mr. Unger for 5 minutes.
Madam Chair, Ranking Member Stansberry, distinguished members of the subcommittee. I am honored to share my views with you. They are my own and not those of my current or former employers. Our set of foreign aid tools reflects enlightened self-interest.
Okay, we can go ahead. Yeah, we can get out of that one. I'm going to go a few more minutes. At least I can get, because it's got to be a part two, because I want to get to these drug dealers. Okay, here we go.
Do you think Soros is a patriot?
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay. I don't even know what he is. I hear the name. The name is popular. I think he's done a great job of like making himself be mysterious and not even in the conversation. I think
like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's like just now with the internet. Like think about this. This is fascinating. This is how you know that guy got some influence and control. We know everything about Jeffrey Epstein, everything about Ghislaine Maxwell. I got bikini pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell, right?
Yeah, you do.
Nobody even knows George Soros. They barely know his upbringing. They kind of like if this guy is actively supporting these district attorneys in these liberal cities and destroying the fabric of these liberal cities and these liberal states, if he's doing that and we got one picture of him, that's different level. And it is possible that a guy like that is at odds with the people that want America to be successful. And he's found a way to profit off of this. And who knows? I don't know why they would even let a guy like that exist. If there is an all-powerful they that's trying to protect America, why would they let him exist? Who the fuck is he? Can you tell me who he is?
Oh, there's no way in the world, like right now, if you look at, are you familiar with ESG, DEI, and CI?
No.
I didn't even know what the fuck you just said.
Let me go past this.
Let's talk about what you talking about. Who drinks Bud Light? You forgot who your audience is. Dollars to HRC. I want to say in 2012, you can verify this. In 2012, HRC, that dictates what your scores are and comes and scores these people, was given $100 million Hollywood and movie making. A guy named Thomas Edison from Jersey.
Okay, yeah, we done with that one. We done with that one. Come on, I'm gonna get okay. I'm gonna do 2 more, then I'm done. Then I'm gonna come back with a part 2 in a few days. Well, let me get out of that. I'm gonna get rid of that. We ain't going back that far no more. I'm about to get rid of this too.
Are villainous, treasonous, anti-American traitors. I can't wait to share with you. We got this breaking story. Act Blue, the Democratic powerhouse funding machine, caught in a major investigatory scandal. Also, I've got a lot to share with you. Buckle up. Make sure that you.
This Professor Nass. I forgot to announce these people.
Has you covered. I've got the American Airlines flight attendant who pleaded guilty.
Okay, let's just get to George.
Check this out. From donors such as George Soros, Reid Hoffman, who is a co-founder of LinkedIn. I've talked a lot about LinkedIn being one of the most woke websites out there. Herbert Sandler and Patricia Baumann through Act Blue. Elon Musk posted on X saying, if anybody has any information, send it to him, because this is a criminal enterprise. I mean, this is Soros, Hoffman, Obama's in there. You know, you've got the entire cabal, Holly Weirdo. These are people who are anti-American. These are people who want to see us go down. These are the same people who backed all of those BLM protests, rioting in Minnesota, rioting in Chicago, rioting in New York, looting, burning down cities, Portland, Seattle, you name it. These are the same heathens. And now they're organizing this. Check this out.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He sure did. He funded the protesters against Tesla. He funded that and the destruction of those cars. He damn sure did. Yep.
These were supposed to be grassroots organizations, you know, organized by the people. Check out this Tesla dealership just recently in San Francisco. Look at this protest right here. Here's a clip that was just taken this morning of this crazy individual actually attacking Teslas on the road in Seattle. Watch this. Remember, there was zero outrage when we had millions and millions of criminal illegal migrants crossing the border. Zero outrage when the American economy went right into the toilet. Zero outrage when all of our taxpayer dollars.
They ain't saying shit.
It was about, looking at my notes, around, it was about 6:01, maybe a little bit after.
Okay, this is gonna be the last one. Yeah, because I'm gonna have to do a part 2. I'm trying to think of a title for this about. Should I do something like the attack on drug dealers? Because I got some stories. That's what I'm about to do. It's gonna be the last one. Or the end of drug dealing. I don't like that. The plight of drug dealers. What's the title should be? My next thing is on. I got 3 drug dealer stories that I'm about to do. It's the last video. The plight of drug dealers or the end of drug dealing. I need a good title. I guess I'm about to call my friend and get a title. Okay, this is our last video on this, on George ass, bitch ass.
And President Biden is expected to speak on the rise of anti-Semitism tomorrow, as anti-Israeli protests fueled by his top political donors continue at colleges across the country.
And as protesters are arrested after piling up around the country, cities are being left to pay the high costs of the police response.
We have team coverage. Madison Allworth is right outside Columbia. But first, let's go to Peter Doocy at the White House. Guys?
Good morning. We knew the money was coming from somewhere, right? The matching tents, the professionally printed signs, all the supplies. Well, now we know that they were, at least in part, indirectly paid for by some of America's wealthiest liberal families. Politico did an investigation. Part of it says President Joe Biden has been dogged for months by pro-Palestinian protesters calling him Genocide Joe. But some of the groups behind the demonstrations received financial backing from philanthropists pushing hard for his reelection. The donors include some of the biggest names in Democratic circles: Gates, Soros, Rockefeller, and Pritzker, according to a Politico analysis. The Gates Foundation says that their donations to these groups are not active. They have stopped, but not George Soros. You see, in December, 300,000, November, 350,000, September, 250,000. Susan Pritzker, October, 3,300. Nicholas Pritzker, November, 3,300. David Rockefeller, in September, 10,000. That would be donations to the Biden. That is a list of Biden campaign donors who are funding some of these groups that are behind the anti-Israel college protests. And that is that some Democrats in Congress say that they are eager to vote in favor of a House bill that adopts the Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism as law.
I was one of the co-leaders, sponsors of that bill, so of course I'm going to vote yes on that. And I think it's a very valid concern that really allowed that. I mean, that's an overwhelming vote, a bipartisan vote in the House as well. I think it's a great bill, and I look forward to voting for it.
So it appears that some wealthy donors are playing both sides of this election.
They always do.
To President Biden's reelection.
That's what the Illuminati does. It plays both sides.
President Biden's reelection effort. Back to you.
That might come up at the White House press conference today. Am I right, Peter?
Yes, right on.
If they call on you. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Now we turn to Madison Allworth, who is outside Columbia University, with more on who should be paying for the police response. Madison.
Okay, that's it. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Can y'all please hit the like button? I'm trying to get a title. I'm going to have to call my friend. I need a title about these drug dealers. That's the next thing I'm about to do. Let me just make sure that was the last one for the 6th. Yeah. All right, that's it. Like, share, subscribe.